The girls' game. What is a girls' game? A girl game, generally, is just the name for a game whose content is designed to cater towards girls. Never mind the fact that plenty of girls, me included, will play any kind of game as long as it's fun to do so. This has mostly been relegated to dress-up games, flash games about boys and kissing, or virtual pet simulator. Most of the time, you can be sure a game is a girl's game if it plays like garbage and is unapologetically terrible. I mean, really zero effort went into these things until around like 5 or 6 years ago. Recently, the term cozy game has managed to wiggle its way into this space, expanding the genre away from the low effort, low quality, only girls will play this, so why bother making it good design philosophy of the past. Basically, all the things that used to be just for girls and girl coded have become more gender neutral design features over time, like being creative and building your own space and taking care of it. Hello Kitty Island Adventure, for example, is a recently released game that's categorized as a cozy game, but is most definitely designed to be at least somewhat a girl's game. Animal Crossing is sometimes considered a girl's game, but Stardew Valley isn't, but both are cozy games. The main difference in those games outside of art style can be hard to pinpoint. Both have you crafting and exploring for resources, farming, getting to know your townspeople, and customizing your house and your land. So what's the difference? Well, if you asked me, I'd say Stardew Valley has combat. It's basic, it only has one area, but it does exist, and to progress you kind of have to participate in it. Animal Crossing doesn't have combat. What it does have that Stardew Valley doesn't, and I think is what really turns it from just a cozy game into what a lot of people call a girl's game, is the in-depth dress-up feature. There are literally thousands of clothing items you can find, make, and wear in Animal Crossing, and customizing your character to your liking is a huge part of the appeal. But, honestly, I wouldn't call Animal Crossing a girl's game, because I know plenty of non-girls who play it. You literally don't even have to participate in the dress-up. You don't have to speak to a single villager outside the first 10 you get to live on the island. It doesn't require any classic girl game features, and it also doesn't have to be girl-themed at all. You can make your entire house nothing but race cars if you'd like. The game really doesn't care. Obviously, anything that's based on a property marketed directly to women and young girls is going to be automatically considered a girl's game no matter what. Like, again, Hello Kitty, which has less of that dress-up feature, but the nature of it just being about Hello Kitty and friendship as the main defining feature of it, story-wise, kind of makes it a girl's game. Maybe this is a reach, but because there's no real solid definition anywhere, I'm gonna design the 3 main pillars of what makes a game a girl's game. Firstly, customization, aka the dress-up feature. Not just character customization or the ability to change in several pre-made outfits, but like a full dress-up feature with layering, various items specifically in the game, and the system for you to spend significant time in at any point to like look pretty or make your house look pretty. Bonus points if there's some kind of goal or reward mechanic directly based on the types of clothes or decorations you use. Number 2, the story. It can't just be any story. The themes of the stories are really more often down to earth and less fantastical, despite the setting usually being such. Stories in girls' games emphasize kindness, dreams, aspirations, self-discovery, self-worth, and self-expression, especially if the main character and major supporting characters are girls or women dealing with issues through that perspective. Think any 2000s Barbie movie, and you kind of get what I'm getting at. Third is gameplay. Most of the gameplay in these games ends up being mini-game based or a glorified point-and-click walking simulator filling the gaps between mini-games. If you're lucky, you get to ride a horse and you have tank controls. Combat especially is low priority or non-existent. Low priority combat is less about the combat being easy and more about the fact that it just isn't vital to the experience. Presented more as a puzzle mechanic than skillful engagement of reflexes and timing, ideally, even if there is any in-depth combat system, which I have no examples of this in classic girl games, but I'm sure one exists, it would be very low priority in the overall experience as a whole, and definitely have little to no emphasis placed on it in the story or general gameplay otherwise. And again, most cases it's just not there at all. So generally, if something is actually classified as a girl's game, it's a little bit dog shit, and if it's not, it's just called a cozy game and the mechanics are actually good, but more gender neutral and less targeted towards a female audience. Gamers and game devs seemingly just don't really value women as a target audience. Who would have thought? So what if I told you there is a game that under this definition, these 3 pillars I've given, that is undeniably a girl's game? A game so clearly, so specifically designed for feminine audiences. but that goes above and beyond in every single category to become what I consider possibly a near masterpiece. A game that redefines the market and proves to the whole world that not only can girl games be good, they can be, dare I say, revolutionary. This video, this essay, was made with the sole purpose of getting anybody who watches, man or woman or otherwise, to give this free game a chance. Yes, free game. This video is about Infinity Nikki and a new age in girls gaming. Infinity Nikki isn't just your average girls game. Sure, it has little collection tasks like fishing and bug catching, no farming unless you count your dig function, thank God, and a robust dress-up system to boot. But unlike most games of a genre, it takes these systems very seriously, and they play directly into the mechanics of the game in a way that's interesting and serves as its own form of world building. That dress-up system, yeah, it's not just character customization, it's literally the driving force of the entire game's narrative. We meet Nikki, your player character, and her best friend Momo, who is weirdly not a cat. She's a young girl pulled away suddenly on the night of her high school graduation party into a world of magic and wishes called Mirrorland, after finding and being abducted by a mysterious dress in her mother's wardrobe. After she appears in a strange ruin, she hears the calling of a woman and goes to meet her, chained to the ceiling. Her name is Ina, and she gives Nikki a powerful attribute called the Heart of Infinity, and sets her on a quest to recreate miracle outfits, ultimate power items that potentially allow Nikki to save the entire realm. Ina then sends you away to the official starting area inside the Heartcraft Kingdom in an area called Wishfield, sitting in a harbor town called Florawish. Once you get your bearings in the new world, you learn that the Heart of Infinity allows Nikki to become a stylist and functions as a simple skill tree. Stylists in the realm of Mirrorland are essentially wizards who have learned to harness the power of whimsy into magic they call whim. They use whim to instantly design and manifest outfits imbued with the magical attributes of whim, which allows them to use special powers and abilities. Some of these are used as gameplay mechanics, like the one that allows you to become an electrician? Play the violin? While others are more standard magic ability stuff like floating through the air or the ability to purify enemies randomly dotted around the map throughout the game called S-Lings. Around the map as well are Whim Stars. They're collectibles that allow you to unlock new clothing items and upgrades in the Heart of Infinity. As you progress through the game, you'll engage with other stylists who are part of different factions representing various clothing styles in the game. The styles are cool, elegant, fresh, sweet, and sexy. These also have sub-labels applied to them that will give you extra points versus particular faction members. A stylist duel is basically seeing if Nikki is able to apply the appropriate amount of whimsy into her outfits in order to beat the opponent. It's more or less an aura off. Each category has a sovereign, aka a localized master of their style, which you have to beat in a contest at some point to eventually further the plot of the game. As you progress, the faction members become harder to beat, requiring you to upgrade your clothing items and search for higher stat pieces to beat them. Side note, there's some people outside the Florawish Guild here having a styling battle during the day, and the idea that this is what it looks like from the outside is the silliest thing ever. I love the idea that Nikki is just kind of doing a jig back and forth with her opponent whenever she has her little style contest. We have to talk about how you actually get the clothing items in the game. A lot of people don't like this, but there is a gacha mechanic. Nikki can actually acquire more than enough outfits though, not only to progress, but even get high scores on most, if not all, styling contests, entirely free to play. There's a lot of ways to get outfits in this game entirely for free. In about 1 hour of gameplay, I managed to get maybe 30 unique items between crafting your own outfits from sketches you get in the Heart of Infinity. You find items in chests, you find sketches in chests, you go shopping. There's a Surprise-O-Matic, which is like kind of a free-to-play gacha with the in-game currency. You can exchange dewdrops you find around the map with a singing dragon who gives you more special outfit sketches. And then in the actual gacha pull mechanic, you can get like 10 pulls a day during an event with the in-game currency that you can trade for those gacha pulls. You really don't have to pay unless you absolutely 100% want to guarantee you get the highest rarity outfit, which again, you don't need to beat the game or progress at all. You actually also can recycle items into something called bubbles that will upgrade your items even more, and again, recycling these items, when you get the double pulls, they give you a special currency which you can use to buy more crafting items, more upgrading trading items, and also more pulls. You get 5 a month for free for each type of banner. All in all, I've spent exactly $0 on the game when I started writing this script. I hadn't even gotten to the end of the first major plot point after over 50 hours, and I literally have hundreds of unique pieces with the potential to make dozens of outfits. And did I mention the game isn't finished yet? There's literally so much to do, and it's the first arc of the game, and there's so much to be added. I saw an article from IGN. They said they might make customizable houses in the future, and I believe it. When you finish the first part of the main story, they explain there's 6 other regions outside of the Heartcraft Kingdom, and how you're gonna end up going there in the future. I am not kidding. Wishfield, the first area in the game, home to 2 cities, giant places, which also isn't even done yet on its own, despite having, again, like 50 plus hours of gameplay for the first 2 outfits, is not even the only region planned to be available. I'm not even kidding. One of the regions is a whale-shaped spacecraft in space. And another edit, because I have to come back to this paragraph 17 times while writing it because they keep announcing stuff on Twitter. The 1.3 update, they're adding a whole new dungeon in the Heartcraft Kingdom Palace ruins, which they're totally revamping as a seasonal event for the month of March. There is also 4 more 100% free, highly scored outfits for the event. The content potential for this game is fucking crazy. And I haven't even talked about the part of the game where you run around as a little sprite on Momo's head yet. Going along with the robust dress-up system is, of course, the incredibly fleshed out photography system. And this is not just a glorified HUD hider for your screenshots. Momo's camera has all the features you'd expect from a high-end real-life camera and more. There's quests to go along with it, including forced perspective challenges where you have to match up your frame to create an image people request of you, location photos you can find around the map to fill up his scrapbook, which rewards you with points to unlock new poses, lighting effects, and filters for the camera. There's also a nice community feature that utilizes the online aspect of the game, where you can leave little magic hourglasses of your photos around the server with little short captions for other people to view and thumbs up if they like it. Others can also recreate your Nikki's pose and then take their own photo on top of yours to share. And it's really cool and really funny, and people do a lot of creative things with it. It's a nice detail of the photography system that I really adore. Based on that being such an in-depth feature and just the footage of the game I've been showing at this point, you should have realized by now that the whole game is just downright beautiful. From detail on the outfits to the scenery, just the skyboxes are gorgeous, and the landscape has been crafted with picture taking directly in mind. So much so that you can just be walking around and you'll suddenly see a spot and just know that it was hand detailed explicitly for the photography purpose. And the map is huge, guys. I mean, so massive. Massive props to the devs and designers on this one. They deserve every single penny they get from this game. I am so serious. And after sharing how beautiful and well designed the dress up and photo mechanics are, and how it's directly related to the plot of the game, I'm sure you're wondering, okay, but how good can the story actually be if it's just based entirely around magic outfits? Well, what a wonderfully convenient question to use as my segue into talking about outside of the basic information you get in the introductory of the game that I already went over. I'm sure you can guess by the depth of that alone, just supporting the dress-up system. There's a lot going on around here other than just making the magic dresses. Infinity Nikki's story delves into a beautifully broad range of topics, starting at the surface at the beginning of the game, with questions like, what does a wish mean to you? It explores what motivates people to achieve their dreams, and then also, in some part, discusses religious practices and the impact it may have on a culture if they still worship a god that they know no longer exists. At some point early on in the game, the inciting incident will happen. You find out somebody is giving people an item called a Quick Wish Bottle. The bottle is supposed to immediately grant someone's wish, gifted to them by a sinister character named the Prophet. Now, I mentioned a god that no longer exists. Each kingdom had a god they worshipped. For the Heartcraft Kingdom, the god was the Wishing One, called such due to his ability as a god to instantly grant wishes of those who worship him if he deems the wish to be worthy of it. You can probably guess from what I just told you, the Quick Wish bottles are not made by the Wishing One, because he's been hella dead for like a really long time. So the Prophet is mega sus and hella bogus, if you know what I mean. Anybody who uses the Quick Wish bottle soon starts to suffer from sudden mood swings, severe hallucinations, and eventually falls into an incurable coma. Essentially, the Prophet is waging a massive terror attack on the region of Wishfield and all the people within it. Nikki, who's proven herself to be a stylist prodigy almost immediately, very likely due to possessing the Heart of Infinity and having the inspiration for the miracle outfits, is assigned to the task of capturing the Prophet, revealing his identity, and figuring out how to wake up all the coma victims. I know that's a lot, but you gotta keep up because there's a lot more. And remember, this is really just the basis for the first kind of main story arc of the game. All of it revolves around this goal of waking up the coma victims. Now, this already comes across as kind of heavy for, a usual girls game, and as well as a generic cozy game, to be honest, but bear with me, because again, it gets crazier. Once you finish the first few chapters of the game in Flora-Wish, you head over to Stoneville, the neighboring city. Now, despite being in Wishfield, Stoneville has its own people, culture, beliefs, and unique art direction. The people of Stoneville still worship the Wishing One like they do in Flora-Wish, but instead of thinking he's just dead and gone forever, they believe he was reincarnated into a massive bird called a silvergale. Now, you wouldn't think this would cause such a big problem, but it kind of does. See, the people of Flora-Wish happen to live alongside of a species called Fey-Wish sprites. They're little blue creatures, and they collect wishes from the people of Flora-Wish. They were created by the Wishing One. They delivered these wishes to be granted by the Wishing One and lived alongside him. Now that he's long dead, they still continue their work, sometimes even granting certain lower grade wishes to the people, sorting out the essence of their wish into different kinds of orbs that they use to differentiate the maker's intention. So the people of Stoneville who think the Wishing One isn't dead, but instead is a big bird flying around, fully see the Fey-Wish sprite as having been treasonous and abandoning the Wishing One. Essentially, I won't go into details, but they blame them for his death. So, to the Flora-Wish people, Fey-Wish sprites are magical little beings that still carry out their god's mission, and to Stoneville people, they're evil little conniving creatures that are super evil and they hate them. What they think is that the Wishing One, after what is called the War of the Heavens and the Heavens Fall event in Stoneville, the Wishing One created something called pieces, which are little pieces of cloth adorning balls of rope born of clothes that ancient people of Stoneville left behind filled with their last wishes. To them, the pieces are the continued legacy of the Wishing One, and the Fey-Wish sprites are big traitors. Something I love about Infinity Nikki is that it always remains true to the core of the story no matter what. The idea of what is a wish and what do they mean to you. Stoneville is where they make the fabrics other stylists across the region work with. The people there live in small, rundown houses. They're farmers, and those who don't work on the farm work at the textile mill. It's the most maintained and largest building in the area. Despite creating the material used for extravagant outfits, they aren't usually the ones wearing them, opting for simpler, less vibrant options. The people of Stoneville believe that wishes are shameful in a way. They burn them and hold the belief that people should work for their wishes and achieve them through their own labor rather than expect them to be granted solely on the merit that they were made at all. In Flora-Wish, they believe wishes are almost akin to asking fate to guide you. They hang their wishes from trees and believe if what they want is meant to be, it will simply come true for them. In the city, there's restaurants, nightclubs, and boutiques, luxury boat ports, and fishing clubs. The mentality on wishes, what they mean to each person, and how each place deems one worthy of their wish, is extremely similar to what you'd expect from the same type of class divide in our real world. People from Stoneville think the Flora-Wish residents are entitled, undeserving of their connection to the Wishing One. Well, in Flora-Wish, they view Stoneville people as crude and antiquated in their ways. To make matters even worse in this whole debacle, you learn that the Empire of Light, a neighboring region, has declared a war and has been invading and mass murdering citizens bordering the Heartcraft Kingdom, and each city is dealing with refugees and trade pitfalls this entire time. So you can imagine there's a lot of tension going on at the moment, especially with sudden coma cases going around. Actually, there's so much tension that there's essentially a full-on religious race war started during this segment of the game. I won't spoil too much, but one single chapter in Stoneville involves themes of animal abuse, racism, historic religious artifacts being fought over by different groups, a massive, insane plot twist you would literally never see coming with main villain reveals, classism, corrupt military powers, death, grief, missing persons cases, and so much more. And you are navigating this as a soft-spoken girl and her not a cat Momo with a few magical outfits. This game is being billed as the coziest game by their marketing team right now, guys. Do you know the most fucked up part? They're literally right. This is the coziest game I have ever played. How is that even possible? The very next chapter has you discovering a literal coup of magical government through more corrupt military power, apostate false gods, including multiple cases of false imprisonment and forced slave labor, and it is cozy as hell the entire fucking time. The coziness of Infinity Nikki undoubtedly comes from its common gameplay loop. Crafting items requires gathering materials around the map, like plant life, but also through fighting enemies, catching bugs, fishing, and grooming animals for their fur. The act of gathering materials has some level of difficulty, wait time, or grind to it, but I don't really think this is used to force people to spend money, because the longest I've ever had to wait to get an entire outfit because I was missing a material was like 2 days, and I just happily went around doing side quests and other things while I waited for my dailies to refresh. With the help of your ability outfits, Nikki is able to fish, groom animals for textiles, and catch bugs. You also can just run around the map and pick up stray fruits and flowers lying around as regular Nikki. The bug catching and the collection are pretty instant and not bothersome at all. Some bugs you have to sneak up on because they'll run away, but that's only the super rare ones, and you only get maybe 5 of each day you can collect anyway. Fishing takes like forever, but the fish isn't a single item, you use them up by weight. So in one fish catching, you get a few kilograms you can use. Grooming animals takes forever also, and you still have to sneak up on them, but the game keeps it kind of fresh by giving each animal you encounter a unique grooming animation. The map in this game is huge, and it really forces you to go all over in order to get the materials you need and complete certain side quests. As you travel around the map, you can run into different kinds of mini games that give you rewards you can use both for crafting and in the gacha system. One type is a mini game stand, where you get to do things like run obstacle courses or play a quick puzzle game inside the regular map with a time limit. The other, Whimstar mini games, where you do similar small platforming puzzles or fight some monsters or something for the Whimstar. Another are game boxes scattered around each area and are unique to the area you're in. You solve these for more diamonds in the gacha system, and also completing them counts as a collectible for a side quest you find in Floorwish. There's also puzzle realms, where you're suddenly teleported to a testing room of some kind and have to use your abilities to solve small puzzles, usually ones that are again unique to the area's unlockable ability outfit, in order to earn a Whimstar. Side note, these game boxes are actually really hard when you get later on into them. My favorite one is probably the paper crane one. I don't have footage of that one, and the one that pisses me off the most is this Feywish sprite one. Oh my god, sometimes it takes me like 20 minutes to figure out what direction they're supposed to go in. The uniqueness in each area of Wishfield isn't just the puzzles or the outfits though, but the entire map for each region is built with Nikki traversing it with her newfound ability in mind. In Stoneville, you're giving the floating outfit. This outfit can only be used in that area, and likewise, the platforming and general travel style around the map is entirely different from the other side. The devs also had plenty of fun with the obstacles and the vertical style of the terrain. In the Wishing Woods, where you get to shrink down and sit on Momo's head, is just as special, because this area is supposed to be home to the sprites. So lots of materials and Whimstars are in places you can only get to as Momo. The height you can get when you jump on trampolines changes as well. Only he can enter the doors in this area, and the mini dungeon in the area is designed specifically for him. There's other entirely unique environments he can only navigate inside this, as well as stealth sections. He's also just outrageously fun to run around as. Something you can't do as Momo though is engage in combat. The fighting system in this game is super simple. You click, and if an enemy is highlighted, Nikki shoots an orb at them and they die. Most only take 1 hit, most bosses take less than 5 hits, and you never take more than 1 heart of damage yourself. While the throwaway S-lings are pretty easy and the bosses don't take many hits, the larger fights can still be pretty fun, since they rely on platforming, environmental factors, and sometimes other special ability outfits in order to beat them. There's a feature in the game where you can access other realms at any point for extra items and stats, 2 of which allow you to face specific bosses multiple times to grind the resources. Once you get bored of doing that, you can skip them just to get the resources, but I still find them pretty fun. Honestly, the whole game is pretty fun, and it explains why at the end of this script I have like 100 hours on it now, and I ended up caving and spending money to get this special and totally optional cloak for Momo. It gives me no stats, and the purpose is aesthetics only, but he is super cute, so please don't judge.
Watch yourself, or you'll feel my claws.
There's so much happening inside of Infinity Nikki that I could have made this video probably 3 times longer than it is, but it's already taken me like a month to make it, and I don't want to do that. So what I do want you to do is for you to pretty please try this game. If it sounded at all interesting to you, Infinity Nikki and the other Nikki games before it are a type of game you don't see get this popular in the West often. It's a softer game made for casual players that explicitly invites a feminine base, but it's not used just as a cheap cash grab for some throwaway IP they got for $10. It's not made for a player base ages 12 and under in mind. I'm sure they've made billions off of the paid parts already in this game, but the detail put into every item, every location, every story of every person you meet is fully deserving of it. Man, there are little notes around this game that tell entire parts of the story you'd miss otherwise. There's even one that has a portion of a miniature novel about time travel in it. The world building is so well done, and I want more games like this in the future. Give me more games about love and kindness and friendship. Give me more games with a complex depth to them that reflects the world we really live in. Give me more games like Nikki.
That's great, Momo. We won.
Also, at some point in all of the games, they always end up giving you a fucking gun, and yes, it gives you points in the dress-up system. I told you this game fucking rips. 10 out of 10.